Children of the Corn and Sweet River are both definitely horrors. And I think maybe I'm typecast. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of my eyebrows. I'm not sure.
Welcome to Watch Mojo's Poppin' the Culture, your weekly entertainment check-in. And me, well, I am your host with the most, Mojo, of course. That's right, it's me, Mr. Hollywood himself, Matt Demers. Another great show coming your way. I'm going to be speaking with Jayden McGinlay. He's one of the stars of the Disney Channel movie, The Curious Case of Dolphin Bay. Don't want to miss that. But first, we're jumping into it. Here's your Hollywood headlines. And here to break it all down with me is Phoebe DeJoux. Hey, Phoebe, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great, and I'm excited to chat with you about some of the topics that we have on deck today. I'm starting, and I'm curious at your thoughts on what we're starting with, and that would be a bit of a divisive actor out there, Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt, yes, we know him from the Guardians of the Galaxy films. He's got a new show out, The Terminal List, on Prime Video. Well, he's taking some actions to kind of correct a bit of perception that the public has about him, notably that he's overly religious. His ties to a specific church, the Hillsong Church, which is has a long list of controversies, especially with the LGBTQ2 plus community. Well, Chris Pratt is saying, hey guys, I'm not actually that religious and I've never been to this church. And he actually just wants us to like him. Phoebe, do you like Chris Pratt?
I think popular opinion is that he's fallen out of favor with the public over the last couple of years. And I think that's probably for a myriad of different reasons. But we've seen this happen with a lot of different celebrities when they're kind of overexposed. I feel like the same thing kind of happened with Lin-Manuel Miranda not that long ago, where he was like Hollywood golden boy. Everybody loved him. And then, he started getting a little oversaturated. So people started looking at him more closely and looking at his works more closely and seeing that, oh, this might have been problematic. This might have been weird. And I think the same thing has happened with Chris Pratt over the last couple of years. I think that, his movies and stuff are one thing, but his presence on social media is a little intense. He also just needs a better PR person. You could tell that he does all of his own social media, and it's not good. It's not what, it's not the vibe. So
That's right. I think that's a good word. The vibe is cringy at best sometimes for him. I wanted to swing back to Guardians of the Galaxy because he's done a bunch of press the past couple of weeks. He's also in the new Thor Love and Thunder film. But speaking on Guardians of the Galaxy, so it's going to wrap up with Volume 3. So there is one more movie to go. But he also talks about being emotional about this being the end of Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, does this mean it's the end of all of them? We know that Dave Bautista has said that he's not returning. There is going to be some characters killed off. That's not a spoiler. That's what they're telling us in that third movie. Chris Pratt, is he leaving Guardians of the Galaxy? What do you think?
I don't know. I think, personally, this is one of my favorite Marvel franchises. Like, I love the Guardians of the Galaxy. I love the first one. I love the second one. The soundtracks are perfect. Everything about those movies is just fun and perfect. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess. I don't know.
Well, listen, Chris Pratt, I think, is going to do just fine, despite some of the online hate that he's received. He's got the Jurassic World film that just wrapped up. That's doing really well at the box office. Don't be surprised if there's another one that pops up. But he's also voicing Super Mario, right?
And Garfield, no?
Oh, you're right.
See, this is what I mean about oversaturation. Wow. He's taking on too many high-profile roles, and people are getting sick of him.
But you know what's funny? I can picture the Garfield. Fine, great. I think that's good casting. The Mario, I'm kind of with everyone else being like, what the heck? How is that? Yeah. So we shall see. Chris Pratt, a controversial figure out there, but he's doing his best to course correct some of those opinions. But I don't know. His body of work has changed a lot over the years. And so has his body, by the way, if you've looked into it. But I like him, especially with his stuff in Parks and Rec.
Oh my God, yeah. Like, that era of Chris Pratt is like one of my favorite
gold.
Comedy personas, in my opinion. He's so funny.
Absolutely. All right. Speaking of big time personas, well, there's one in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that's missing as of late, that being Wolverine. Well, guess what? Taron Egerton might be taking on the role. Yes, Taron Egerton, the British actor, has said that he has met with Marvel execs, including Kevin Feige, the big head honcho over there, about putting the claws on for Wolverine. This, of course, taking over Hugh Jackman's very, very, very popular role. I mean, what do you think? Is he the right choice?
Not my Wolverine. No, he's not. Carl Urban is the only Wolverine choice for me.
From The Boys.
Yeah, and from Lord of the Rings.
And sorry.
Yeah. No, he basically Butcher in The Boys is an audition for Wolverine. Like, I can't. He's perfect.
I'm 120% with you on that for Carl Urban. I will sign that petition right now. But you don't see, I could see Egerton take on the role. You know, he's proved himself as a good actor. He was, he did Elton John to perfection, but Elton John and Wolverine are very different. But he could also do the action stuff, right, with the Kingsman. I don't know. I think there was also somebody else that I kind of had in mind, Billy from The Stranger Things.
Dacre Montgomery?
You didn't see, don't you think? Maybe, kind of? No?
Did you just take that off the top of your head, or people are talking about this?
I remember at one point people talked about it, and I kind of jumped on that bandwagon.
Really? Oh, I can't see it. I mean, I really like him. He's so great in Stranger Things. I actually haven't seen him in anything else. And to be fair, I do love Taron Egerton. I think he is a phenomenal actor. I loved him in the Elton John movie. I love him in the Kingsman movies. But no, Carl Urban stan over here. I will never, ever accept that.
Okay. All right. But also, being Canadian, I kind of hope we get a Canadian actor at some point, because Wolverine's probably Canadian, guys.
You should play Wolverine.
Me? I don't know.
You could play Wolverine.
Yeah, I'll do something with the hair. Okay, moving on to controversy. Avatar. It's controversial to me because I don't know about you, Phoebe, but I don't know if I really care too much. I'm talking about the James Cameron movies. It's been so long. We're getting the sequels. The news now is that Cameron might not be directing all of them, right? He's done the next two because they're already in the can. So we're getting the second one, which is The Way of Water. And then there's a third one that will come out despite whatever the heck happens with the box office. Two things for you. Do you care about Avatar still, all these years later? And do you mind if James Cameron is not the one directing? Because this is his baby. Yeah,
I mean, I have to say I loved Avatar. I think it's an amazing movie. It holds up today. The CGI, I watched it not that long ago again. And I think it's just a great movie. I think, like I said, the CGI is phenomenal, especially for, 13 years ago?
Yeah, it's been so long. Like, I don't know. I think if they put out the sequel maybe a few years after, but all this time?
Yeah, I just don't think people really... I think it's become a meme at this point where, like, when are we going to get the next Avatar? And I just want to point something out. It took 13 years for us to get the sequel. We don't even have it yet. And James Cameron is already talking about how he's so excited to direct the fourth movie. The man is 66 years old, okay? If we continue going on this trajectory, he will physically not be able to direct the movie. It's just ridiculous. Like, come on.
And he also, by the way, as much as he's great with the Avatar stuff and he's pushed boundaries and he was really at the forefront of the whole 3D technology and all that stuff, I do like his other films, and I kind of selfishly want him to leave Avatar and do some other stuff before he eventually retires, because he does some really wonderful films. So Cameron, if you're watching, put Avatar on the side burner.
Cut it off.
Do some other stuff. Fix Terminator, by the way. We haven't gotten a good Terminator since he was the one directing it. All right, lastly, and I couldn't leave it off because, well, I have you joining me today, and that means we got to talk about Stranger Things. Stranger Things, this little show, little cultural phenomenon. Season 4, Part 2 has landed on Netflix. Most people did the binge. There's only 2 episodes, but I think it equaled out to how many hours?
About 4 hours, yeah.
About 4 hours. I don't know why they just didn't chop it up, but regardless, it was really great. Did you feel the same? I know you're a big fan.
Yeah, super fan. The last 2 episodes and the season as a whole were definitely some of my favorites. I love the first season of Stranger Things, but I think this one rivals it in terms of just like, the scale of it and the CGI and the effects and the acting. Like everybody's really come into their own as actors on this show, and the addition of new and amazing characters, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a little bit. But, I just loved it so much. It was so amazing. I'm so like, I still feel bruised from watching like the finale, and it's been like days, and I still feel kind of like upset and weird about it. So in a good way, obviously, but it was incredible.
I watched it last night, and I had trouble sleeping because I just kept thinking about it. Speaking of that cast, you're right. We got a lot of new characters, and I think the originals, the OGs, are still knocking it out of the park. Who was the MVP of this season? Because for me, and I'll give you mine, you give me yours, I'm going Sadie Sink.
Oh, God.
She's great.
Oh, God, yes. She was so phenomenal in this season. She was, at the forefront of one of the best scenes in all of Stranger Things, where she's running from Vecna. Yeah. That was so emotional and so touching. I think she's really come into her own. And I'm sure she has an amazing career and future ahead of her. For me, the character at the forefront of this entire season is Eddie. Yeah. Eddie, Joseph Quinn, I don't know what kind of crack they put in that character, but everybody is just obsessed with him. And I love Eddie.
Me too. I'm right there with you, saying this is probably my favorite season, tied I think with the first one, obviously. Yeah. But great stuff. What's to come? Season 5 is going to be, say it ain't so, the last one. Yeah, it's ending. They're saying it. And their return. Well, we don't know much. Obviously, they keep these things under, shrouded in secrecy. But we're returning to Hawkins for the entire season, they're saying. And they're also saying some of the episodes will be a lot shorter than what they were here. But they're saying to prepare yourself emotionally. I don't know what that means. Probably more characters are going to bite the dust.
Well, listen, I think Stranger Things has a real problem with not being brave enough to kill off any of their main cast members. So, it's always like the really cool supporting characters that bite the dust. But anyway, I'd heard also that they were going to do like a time jump, which doesn't really make sense with the way that the season ended, because the threat is imminent. So I don't understand how they're going to do a time jump if they do stick to their guns on that, because obviously in the last scene, it's like, it's approaching literally. So I'm really curious to see how they tackle that. But the fan theories are running wild, and I love reading them. It's my favorite show ever. I love it.
I'll go down that rabbit hole a lot. Okay. Last thing before we wrap things up here in the Hollywood headlines. Petitions are out to save certain cast members. I know Steve Harrington, there was billboards actually erected, save Steve. Who's that one cast member that they cannot kill?
Will.
Can't kill Will?
No. I think Will was sidelined in this season because he'll have a pivotal role in the final season. Noah Schnapp in the second season of Stranger Things did some of the best acting I'd ever seen, especially from a child actor. And I just hope that he has a bigger role in the last season, because he has such a special connection to the Upside Down. So I think it's an interesting way to kind of like ingratiate him in the story of season 5. But if they kill Will, I'll riot.
Jeez. Are you listening, writers? Stranger Things, don't mess with Phoebe. All right, Phoebe, thank you as always for helping me break all this down today.
Thank you so much for having me.
But you know what? Me and you, we're not done, because we got to take that little trip, and that trip is beyond the list. All right, Phoebe, you know what we do. We go in the vast archives of Watch Mojo. We pluck out a top 10 list. We go beyond that list with our own personal opinions, takeaways. Did Watch Mojo get it right? Did they get it wrong? Today we're doing something a little fun. I'm a big movie guy, and obviously I'm always on the blogosphere. I know people still say that. The Twitterverse.
The Twittersphere.
Is that what they say? Well, there's all kinds of behind the scenes rumors and innuendos about certain movies and productions. I just eat that stuff up. These are times where those rumors turned out to be true. Yeah. So we all heard these. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't, and they turned out to be true. So I want you to chime in on whether or not you heard it, what you make of it, because there are some ones that already making me giggle. Starting with number 10, my favorite and yours, Jared Leto.
Oh.
Remember last time we talked about Jared Leto? Are you actually a fan of his?
No.
Before we, no, not at all.
No. What's the movie he did with Matthew McConaughey? Dallas Buyers Club. That was a good movie.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I think he's a good actor because I think he takes chances. But you're right. Some of the movies that he's popped up in and some of the choices that he makes are not always the best. The one that clocks in at number 10 here is his role as Morbius. And the rumor was that there were all kinds of delays that were really upsetting people in production because he went method, meaning his character, Jared Leto's character in Morbius, has this kind of debilitating disease. He has trouble walking. So what Leto was doing on set, and this turned out to be true, was he was literally taking crutches from his trailer, and it was taking him upwards of 40 minutes to get to the set because he really wanted to. Yeah. But we also heard, I don't know if it was confirmed or not, for his antics on Suicide Squad, where he sent, I won't even tell you the stuff that he sent to co-stars. That was the rumors anyways. But yeah, this is, I guess, going method.
Yeah, I think that like the curtain is being pulled back on people who go method in recent, times, because it's so ridiculous the lengths that some people go to, not only to like stay in character, but also to make everyone around them miserable. I saw this really funny red carpet interview with Jamie Campbell Bower because he played Vecna, and somebody asked him, you made Millie Bobby Brown cry because she was so afraid of you. And he said, I only did what they asked me to do. I didn't do method, because it's gotten such a bad rap because of things like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I heard about that rumor and I'm not surprised that it was true.
45-minute bathroom breaks, they're saying, because he had to give me the crutches. Man, Leto, come on.
He blamed it on the crutches, but we know what he was really doing in there.
Yeah, we don't. Who knows? Who knows with that guy? All right, number 8. This one's kind of funny too. It's Harry Potter. They're calling this the candy.
Did we jump to number 8?
Oh, I missed number 9. You're right. Okay, number 9 is Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Oh, this is worth mentioning, of course, because the rumor was that Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie had their fling on this movie. The controversy being that Brad Pitt was still married to Jennifer Aniston at this time. Of course, they didn't make their relationship official until way after this movie came out. But yeah, it's come out that they fell in love on this set, and that's where Brangelina began. Yeah, do you remember that? Were you team? Remember, there's T-shirts at one point. Team Aniston, Team Jolie.
Yeah.
Why do we do this, by the way?
Neither woman is really, to blame. Obviously, especially not Jennifer Aniston. Brad Pitt is just trash for having done this, and it's such an unfortunate thing to do, and such an embarrassing thing to do, to your wife.
And it happens a lot.
Yeah, it does. It's really discouraging.
Yeah.
I don't like seeing that kind of stuff, and it makes me, whether or not I'm right for this, it makes me see actors in a different light when I hear that they've been, unfaithful or have had affairs on set with actresses or actors, and it really bugs me. I really don't like it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And I'm always shocked when I find out how often it happens, right?
Yeah.
It's not just like after the movie ended and their certain relationship ends, they reconnect with their old co-stars. No, it's because stuff happened.
Even then, it kind of makes you wonder what that happened recently with Dominic West and Lily, the girl who played Pamela Anderson.
Oh, is it Lily James? Maybe.
Yeah, Lily James and Dominic West. That happened with them recently. They were like spotted kissing and stuff, and he's married.
Oh. Hollywood, I tell you.
Yeah, he's gross.
Okay, let's move to number 8 because this one's a very different rumor that happened. Okay, so the actor Felton, is it Tom Felton? It is Tom Felton. Yeah. So he was just a kid, but he had a bit of an addiction to candy. And the real candy, by the way, not a euphemism for anything. So so he was always stuffing his wardrobe, pockets were stuffed with candy, and he was sneaking them in between takes. Apparently this was not good, so they had the costume people sew the pockets shut to stop Tom Felton's candy consumption. Can you imagine how much candy was this kid eating?
Oh, he's a kid. He should be able to eat as much candy as he wants. But yeah, that's so cute and so funny, especially since he played such a villainous character. Yeah. And you kind of hate him even when he's a little kid. He's like a little shit, But yeah, it's so cute. I just love this. It's so cute.
Yeah, that's awesome. Those kids, well, they're not kids anymore, but they're still doing the Comic-Con circuit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
well, Bonnie Wright, is that her name? She played Ginny. She's going to be at Comic-Con in Montreal this weekend.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, because there's a bunch in my surrounding areas, and Felton in particular is one that I always see kind of on that list. So there's still
interviewed the Weasley twins at Comic-Con a few years ago.
Did you?
Yeah, it was so fun.
Yeah, that's fun. Nostalgia but the Harry Potter franchise has never recovered. They've never been able to duplicate it, but that's a whole other thing. Number 7 was a rumor to do with the MCU. When is there not rumors to do with the MCU? This one had to do with Hawkeye being MIA in Avengers Infinity War. And this has to do with all those people when the trailers come out and everyone dissects the trailers, like especially with the superhero stuff. And they're like, where's Hawkeye? And there was all these rumors. And of course the movie came out and we knew that he kind of left the group and became the vigilante, if you will. So yeah, that was just eagle-eyed fans really playing detective.
Yeah, they figured that one out pretty quickly.
And they were right. They were right. Number 8, the cast drama that put a halt to Sex and the City 3. Oh yes, this of course having to do with Kim Cattrall and her not being pleased with her other cast members. Sex and the City 1, I think, was a big success. Did you watch these movies, by the way? Because I've never seen any of them.
No, I haven't seen them.
No. Were you a fan of the show?
No, I've never watched it. But I do follow the cast drama.
Well, that's the thing. Me too. I feel like they need to make a movie about the drama.
Like a documentary or something, yeah.
I'll watch that. But yeah, no. So Kim Cattrall put a halt to Sex and the City 3, and that was always the rumor. But of course, we didn't know to what extent. And then of course they did the reboot of Sex and the City, and just like that. And of course, Kim Cattrall not in that. And there was a lot of mudslinging out there in the press. And of course, it came out that Sex and the City 3 was because of that drama as well.
Yeah, no, we didn't know anything before, but now we know everything because everything has been laid out on the internet, and it's just crazy. I don't know, like, who's to blame, but it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot. There's a lot of drama there. Will she ever reconcile? No.
No way.
It's too late.
Out of principle.
You always say never, but I think in this case, maybe we'll throw it a never. The midway point, we're going back to the superhero stuff. This, of course, having to do with Ben Affleck in his disillusionment with DC and playing Batman. Now, I got excited because when he played Batman in Batman v Superman, in the press, he was saying the next Batman movie will be directed by me. Ben Affleck was going to do his own Batman film. And I was like, yes, Ben Affleck directing a Batman is going to be dark, it's going to be gritty. And then, of course, all the rumors came out that, no, he wasn't happy behind the scenes. His time on Justice League was terrible. And he just decided that he's done, and we know what happened there. We got another Batman with Robert Pattinson. So, yeah, that turned out to be all true. Ben Affleck didn't like his time, especially on that Justice League set. This is the one where Snyder left and Joss Whedon took over.
Yeah, there was, I think, a lot of people who were unhappy on that set. But yeah.
Everybody was unhappy on that set.
Ben Affleck, that interview that he did where it was like, hello, darkness, my old friend.
Oh my God,
Do you remember that? That was my cue that he was unhappy. But he always seems unhappy to me. So it's so funny that you said that if he directed a Batman movie, it would be like dark and gritty. He seems dark and gritty. He's always got like a mad face on or like a cranky face on. I really don't like Ben Affleck. I really don't like him.
My favorite meme of him is when he's having a smoke and he looks so like something's happening.
I love him on the beach with that phoenix back tattoo.
With the tattoo.
So epic.
What were you thinking with that tattoo? I don't mind Ben Affleck. By the way, we're not done with him as Batman. He did film some stuff for The Flash.
That movie's gonna get canceled, Matt. Don't hold your breath.
Yeah, I was gonna say if it even happens, 2023, we have a year to kind of sort out Ezra Miller. Who knows? Okay, number 4 on this list. Rumors that turned out to be true. Well, it was the rumor that the cast was returning to The Force Awakens. This being the Star Wars franchise. They were saying that the whole original cast was going to come back. People were saying, no way, no way. Yes, way. How could they not? They all showed up. Are you I don't even know if you're a Star Wars fan or not.
Yeah, I would say I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm not like a super fan, but I always go see the new Star Wars movies. I'm a big fan of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, me too.
well, especially The Mandalorian because of Baby Yoda. But I remember seeing this in theaters and I thought it was really cool. I know that like a lot of people weren't happy with like the way that the cast was brought back and the way, their stories played out. Even Mark Hamill was like talking shit about how his character turned out to be. He was like, this isn't how Luke would have been. But yeah, it's cool. It's the trend now to bring back like old cast members, and it's nostalgia, and it's not surprising that they did that.
Yeah, just look at the recent Jurassic Park where they all come back, and yeah, I think you're right, and I think the Star Wars, that Force Awakens, kind of cemented that as this needs to happen now in these big franchises, right?
Yeah.
We need to pay her, and the Ghostbusters did it recently. I like that. I love the Ghostbusters movie. I feel like the ending where they all kind of show up, I was kind of like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it felt like very tacked on, and it was just like,
yeah.
I
didn't love the way they paid tribute to Harold Ramis. It was Harold Ramis, right?
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, that whole.
I didn't love it. I thought it was a little odd, but I love that movie. It was really good, and the main character's name is Phoebe, so I felt special.
There's a Phoebe in a movie. Yeah, no, I don't get me wrong. I do want to see they're making a second one, so I will go watch it. I just feel like it was a little on the nose, a little too, I don't know. All right, moving on to Stanley Kubrick, who destroyed props from 2001: A Space Odyssey. They were saying that there's rumors, this hasn't been confirmed, that he faked the moon landing. He filmed it. This
hasn't been confirmed, Matt.
That's not the rumor we're confirming today. We're confirming the fact that he destroyed props from his movie 2001: A Space Odyssey. But people put that together. They think, that was used that's why I'm mentioning it. That was used in the fake moon landing. But no, he destroyed those things, the props and the blueprints, because he didn't want anybody else to repurpose them for their own films and projects, because apparently that had been done for another movie.
Yeah, that makes total sense, because that movie is like a work of art. It was well beyond its years. It's a cinematic masterpiece, and I can understand, putting all that hard work into the props and sets and stuff like that, and then somebody else gets to just use them. That sounds so ridiculous to me. That makes total sense. Yeah,
Kubrick was a genius. I mean, there's all kinds of stories about him behind the scenes, like especially with The Shining.
Shelley Duvall, right?
Yeah, I made her do like upwards of like, what was it, like 60 takes for one scene, but his movies speak for themselves, for sure.
Yeah, they do.
Number 2, this was the big rumor. We at Watch Mojo were all over it, and that of course being Spider-Man No Way Home's cameos. Was there ever a movie with more rumors about cameos than this one? I don't think so.
No, everybody was talking about this, and everybody was, look at the CGI. They removed somebody here. They removed somebody here, and they were right. And I think like it served the story so well. Like, some movies, they just add the cameos in to have that moment where everyone in the theater goes, oh my God, because that's what they're all chasing now. But literally when I was in the theater watching Spider-Man, everyone was going ape shit. Like when Tobey Maguire came on screen, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, and Andrew Garfield was the big one because he was going on talk shows saying no.
Yeah, it was so sick. It was so sick.
But it was fun, and you're right. It totally fit the movie. It fit the vibe. It fit the story, and it all worked out really well. I love that movie, by the way. One of my favorites of last year.
So good, so good. And like you said, it fit the story. It made sense for them to be in the movie.
Absolutely. Unlike Morbius, where there's the end credit where Michael Keaton character shows up and you're like, what?
Oh my God, you just spoiled Morbius for me, Matt. I haven't seen it. I'm kidding. I don't care.
All you had to do was watch the trailer. They ruined it. All right, last one. Going back to my man Zack Snyder, the Snyder Cut. I can't, first of all, as if this turned out to be a thing, and as if all that fan petitions and hashtag release the Snyder Cut actually worked, but it did, and there was a specific cut of the film. It wasn't finished that Zack Snyder did that was much different than the Justice League movie that we got in theaters, which wasn't the best. But yeah, I still can't wrap my head around the fact that this actually happened. And you know what? It's actually pretty darn decent. Like even though it's close to 4 hours, his final cut. But I dug it. I don't
That's
know.
crazy. I heard that it wasn't so great, but I guess I'll take your word for it.
Oh, you should watch it.
Yeah, no, that's so funny. It's so funny how like people on the internet can will something to happen. Like it may not have existed before, but once they saw all the fanfare, they're like, we have to make this exist.
The Snyder Cut exists. Is there another cut? Because that seemed to be a thing, right? Release the whatever cut. Is there a movie that you would love to see? A alternate version that's rumored out there. I have one that's kind of obscure.
You go first.
Mine is so obscure, and I'll be surprised if anyone knows this one, because I think it was 1991, 92. Dan Aykroyd put out a movie called Nothing But Trouble, and it starred Chevy Chase, and it was kind of Beetlejuice-esque, where he played this weird kind of judge. It's really obscure, and it bombed at the box office. Demi Moore is in it, but I remember watching it as a kid and being like, kind of interesting. Beetlejuice-esque, but not as good. But Dan Aykroyd has said that his cut of the movie exists, and it is apparently so much better. So I'm saying release the Aykroyd cut of Nothing But Trouble.
We should get that trending on Twitter. I can't think of a movie that's rumored to have an extended cut somewhere.
You probably won't be on board with this, but Jamie Kennedy is saying that there's a Son of the Mask.
Oh God!
Cut.
Now they're just saying that for any bad movie.
The original cut. Apparently, the director of the film made an original cut before it was chopped up and all kinds of stuff, and apparently it was a little darker. So, Son of the Mask could have one. Yeah, there's a couple out there. I'm sure Watch Mojo. We should put together a list.
I think we have. And you know what? What's coming to mind that makes me curious is what were the giant spiders from?
Tremors? No. That was Underground.
It was some like old
Starship
monster
Troopers?
movie. No. It was an old monster movie that they said they had giant spiders in, but they cut it or something. Maybe I'm thinking of like Gojira or something.
Oh, okay.
But then they destroyed the negatives and everything. I'd also like to
release the spiders.
Release the Gojira cut. And also I'd like to see the Shire burning in Lord of the Rings. They never really showed it in the movies. Even in the extended cut, you only ever see it in like the reflection of the ring when they're like looking at it. So I'd actually like to see that because they filmed it, and that would be really cool.
Yeah. There's lots of stuff out there, for sure. All right, Phoebe, this has been so much fun. Thank you, as always, for joining me here on the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I always have the best time.
All right, everybody, hang on. It's time for your Mojo Chat of the week. Joining me right now, he's a young actor and musician, and I can't wait to chat with him about his latest movie. Hey, Jayden, how are you?
I'm really good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing even more fantastic now that I'm talking with you, because I want to dig
it. You're too kind, sir.
I like to butter up the guests a little bit at the start. But no, you're in. Well, tell us where you're in right now.
Where I am right now?
Where are you?
I'm in Queensland, Australia.
Okay. You know what? You are our very first guest from Australia. So there you go. You already.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There you go.
Oh my gosh. It's an honor to be here today.
Now, listen, I'll talk Australia in a bit, but I want to start with a movie, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. It was filmed in Australia. I'm talking The Curious Case of Dolphin Bay. Am I right? It was filmed there?
Yeah, it was filmed on the Gold Coast and in Brisbane, in Queensland. And we shot that in 3 weeks at the end of 2021.
Wow. All right. Okay, there you go. So this is a movie that might sound familiar to people, especially if they're tapped into the world of Disney, because this is a Disney film, which is actually pretty cool. Break it down. Tell us a little bit about it and what we can expect out of it.
Yeah. So basically, the plot of the film centers around 4 teenagers who go on this summer internship for marine biology. And basically, 2 characters, Quinn and Daniela, have sort of fallout. And then my character, Teddy, convinces Quinn to go with him on this treasure hunting adventure. And then some exciting things happen. Yeah.
Does it get spooky a little bit? Because I was watching a few clips. Is there a...
Yeah, there are a few fun things in there. It's not obviously like a horror. Obviously, it's still like a Disney film, but there are some spooky elements, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of an investigation. It sounds fun. It definitely does. What was the cast? How many people were we in the main cast?
Yeah. So there's obviously the four main like teenagers in the film, and then we have three or four main adult cast in the film as well.
Nice. So it is
Yeah.
a pretty big a main cast. And what was the dynamic?
Yeah.
You mentioned the time frame. Was this during the pandemic era? Like were you at distances, or were you able to interact off
We
screen as
we
well?
we were able to interact. Luckily, I did a film in 2020, Children of the Corn, and that was right in the middle of the very first pandemic, the first lockdown. And so that was really crazy to film. But luckily for this one, we could ease up a little bit on that.
So Children of the
And
Corn, you guys were in the bubble, like you had
we
to
were in the
stay.
bubble. We
Mhm.
were right in the bubble.
Stay in that bubble. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm actually glad you mentioned Children of the Corn, because I was looking at your filmography a minute ago, and I saw you pop up in a lot of horror properties. And we
Yeah.
know that the Disney one, not so much, but some of the
Yeah.
past ones. And there was also a movie on Netflix called
Sweet River.
Sweet River. There you go.
Yeah.
And that's horror tinged as well, correct?
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, Children of the Corn and Sweet River are both definitely horrors, and I think maybe I'm typecast. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of my eyebrows. I'm not sure.
And
Um,
ask why. What is it that horror directors and casting agents look at you and be like, "Yes, I need Jayden."
he's freaky, yeah. But no, yeah, I had such an awesome time on both of those as well, and everybody was so awesome in there. So
Are you a horror fan, Jayden?
I like horror movies, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think I like horror movies that are more like grounded in like reality though more. Like I
Hmm.
like more kind of like psychological horrors and things like that, you know?
Wow. Okay. So you
I think
do.
that I think that would be really fun to like be a part of as well, like filming those. Like that like real like gritty kind of those really like tense scenes, you know? Yeah.
I've always wondered too, like filming a horror movie as an actor, especially as a young actor like yourself. Like, are you actually creeping yourself out doing this? Like when they say cut and you like go home or go to your trailer, whatever, are you actually like a little shaky?
On set, I don't really get scared because obviously when there are like prosthetics and stuff or things like that, it's just like here's someone drinking bubble tea. Okay, there's the monster drinking bubble tea. It's fine. But yeah, the only time I did get scared was in pre-production for Sweet River because I played the scary kid in it. And so for the first makeup test, I couldn't see, like, obviously what I was looking like. And then the makeup artists let me look in the mirror for the first time once it was all done. And I was unrecognizable. I kind of freaked myself out a little bit.
Amazing. We're totally going to show visuals of this. Let people know what
Okay.
you saw. Okay, so we had the adventure stuff with the Disney film. We've done the horror. I know you do some stage musicals, things of that nature. Is there a
Yeah.
genre that you prefer, or that maybe you haven't tackled that you want to get into?
Yeah, good question actually. I started musical theatre when I was 6 years old actually, so I've done a lot of that, and I
Wow.
feel like yeah, there are lots of like musicals that I would like to do professionally, like in the future. For screen
Like,
acting though, I kind of like
give us a musical. Give us a musical that you would a dream role for
um
you.
have you heard of Blood Brothers, the musical?
No, but
Not
the
many
name.
people have heard of it. I don't know why, because it's such a great musical, and you should definitely look it up and go see it if you can somehow. That's definitely up there. But about genres and stuff, I kind of just want to like try like a lot of genres or
Hmm.
try and cover all genres in my career. You know, I'm always like trying to like expand like my skills and things like that. So I think I want to try it all.
I talked to a lot of actors your age, and they're always they always tell me they want to get into the superhero roles, because that's the
Yes.
big thing, the
Oh,
Marvel and
hell
DC.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
that's okay.
absolutely.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
you wouldn't turn down a role in the MCU or
Absolutely not. That would be a dream.
Absolutely. Okay, I want to touch on Australia because that's what we were chatting about at the beginning.
Yep.
You're our first Australian guest. Thank you very much for coming on. I've never been. I'm kind of afraid to go to Australia because, from what I've read, everything in your country could kill you. Right?
I love it.
Spiders. You get off the airplane. There's a kangaroo ready to punch you. Like, they're not friendly. Is that real?
We actually
wildlife is crazy.
Where I live, there are literally kangaroos down the road. It's kind of crazy.
No way.
Yeah, I haven't encountered many snakes and things like that, surely, because I love going on like nature walks and things like that in my spare time, and like hiking and stuff, and I don't come across that kind of stuff. Usually there is the occasional massive spider, but you're not going to step into Australia and you're going to die, you know? So that's good.
But you always have to like check your shoes. I just hear horror stories about Australia.
Yeah. I think it's good to check your shoes. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Okay, maybe one day I'll gather the strength and head over. I'll give you a call. You can show me what to do.
Absolutely, let's do it.
Extracurricular stuff, though. What does Jayden like to do? And I forgot to ask you too. Going back to the film, was there a lot of swimming, underground stuff? Because I know there was marine biology.
Yeah. We went to SeaWorld on the Gold Coast to film that. And it was just this big, like, kind of like aquarium kind of thing. And we had a practice day. And originally I was quite scared because there were lots of sharks and fish and things like that in the water. But luckily we did that rehearsal because on the shoot day I was feeling like slightly more confident about that.
Okay, nice. But do you like doing aquatic stuff?
Yeah, it's fun. I did swimming when I was like really young, but I don't think I could apply much to that now because I haven't done it in a while. But yeah, that was really fun. I had a great time.
Nice. And what else do you like to do, Jayden? Sports, music?
Yeah, I love making music. I love going on bike rides and things like that. I love walking.
I feel like this has now turned into some sort of dating profile.
Yes.
I like to go biking and swimming, long walks on the beach.
Nice to meet you. You come here often?
Nice.
And I'm sure there are tons of other things, but that's what I'm thinking of right now.
Amazing. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure chatting with you, and I know people are going to be looking to check out the movie. Where can they see it? I believe in Australia it's going to hit theaters not till the fall, but on Disney, I think, well, it depends on where you are. You can check your local listings, but where can we find out stuff?
Yeah, so Disney Channel, it's already on there, obviously. I'm pretty sure it's on Hulu right now as well. And then in Australia, it goes to theaters in September, I'm pretty sure. And then it was announced that it's going to Disney Plus, but I need to confirm the date for that.
Don't worry, we'll confirm. We'll do the research. Don't worry.
We'll confirm later on. It's fine.
We got it. Jayden, like I said, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. That was fun.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this edition, everybody. Big thanks going out to Phoebe DeJoux for joining in on all the fun. And hey, Jayden, how cool is he? Make sure you check out that movie when you can. It's called The Curious Case of Dolphin Bay. And hey, big thanks to you for watching and listening. I've been Mr. Hollywood, popping that culture.